Dolce, Dolce, Dolce,
Dolce and Gabbana.
yeah, Dolce.
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton,
就好像是这样读一样。Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
There wasn't a toy I couldn't buy. There wasn't a boat I couldn't buy. There wasn't a plane I couldn't buy. There was nothing I couldn't buy. I love money. Come to me.
Eden, what do you want to do with the beauty pageants? What do you want to win? What's your goal?
Money. Money, money, money. I would have money as big as a swim.
What do you want to do with that money, Eden?
Spend it all and kiss it.
I do believe it's un-American to say you can make too much money. I mean, the Federalist Papers say, if I want to work 100 hours a week and never see my family and die at an early age, that's my prerogative.
This is from the Atlantis in Dubai.
What were you doing in Dubai?
Friends.
You want to throw money. You want people to look at you. It's power. Money, power. Tonight we're not even worried about tomorrow. Fuck it.
I mean, the pyramids were built at the moment of precipitous Egyptian decline. And that's what always happens. Societies accrue their greatest wealth at the moment that they face death.
I've been a photographer for 25 years, with my lens focused on wealth and the excesses of our culture. The scale of the excess became clear when I documented the family building the largest house in America. I noticed that no matter how much people had, they still wanted more. I wondered if the hundreds of individual stories I had shot about money, fame, sex, body image, even plastic surgery for dogs, were all connected, and what they said about us. To understand what it all added up to, in 2008, I began working on a book and exhibition about wealth. It would take me back to my earliest work. In 1991, I was just starting out as a photojournalist. I had studied visual anthropology in college and landed my first assignment with National Geographic, photographing a Maya Indian village in Chiapas, Mexico. My mom was a professor of psychology and had been doing research there 20 years before, so we worked together on the project. My mother spoke the language and was at home there, but I struggled to understand the culture and found it really hard to be accepted into people's lives. After we had spent months in the field, National Geographic killed the story. I was devastated. I almost quit photography. My boyfriend sent me a tape to encourage me.
Hey Laura, Frank here. I just got your letters today. I really, really miss you. Go out and do your photography and be aggressive. The more you put yourself into this kind of work, you're going to end up confident about looking for jobs and everything else. So please work hard, okay?
Frank helped me see that I shouldn't give up, and that I needed to find a story where I had a deeper connection to the subject. I happened to find an old copy of Bret Easton Ellis's Less Than Zero. The fictional world he depicted of jaded excess and too much money resonated with what I remembered growing up in LA. I started thinking about my own culture in almost anthropological terms, and realized I wanted to go home and explore it. LA Diary, March 4, 1992. My photography will concentrate on the social rituals of teenage life. I want to photograph senior ditch day, extravagant parties with walkie-talkie equipped bouncers, girls in designer dresses with hair professionally done, Mercedes and BMWs. One day I was photographing at my former high school, a private school in Santa Monica.
There we go. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, sorry. What do you think about growing up in LA?
These three boys said growing up in LA is about money, and they pulled out dollar bills. And it wasn't until I processed the film that I realized they were holding up $100 bills, and these were 13-year-olds.
Money just ruins kids. It's ruined a lot of kids I know. On the first day of school, Kate Hudson went, "I'm not going to tell you who my mom is. She's a big star. And my dad's a bigger star." It affects kids who I know, who you know, how rich you are, what your dad does, what your mom does, what you have, what I have.
That narcissism that is so full-blown in the culture now was just beginning to rear its head in that moment in LA.
Photographer Lauren Greenfield has captured the lives of some of Hollywood's children and displayed them in a new book titled Fast Forward, Growing Up in the Shadow of Hollywood.
Let's go to the young man celebrating his bar mitzvah. Tell us about this. This doesn't look like a religious rite to me.
The family who had this party rented out the Whiskey A Go-Go nightclub on the Sunset Strip and brought in go-go girls as entertainment for the kids.
Looking at all the pictures, I'm left with a real end-of-the-world quality, as though there is a kind of ultra-decadence. These are the images of a society in extraordinary decline. But I'm wondering what you were looking for.
I had no idea what I was looking for then. But now I saw a relationship between what I was covering in the 90s in my first book and where we found ourselves today. It made me want to figure out why our obsession with wealth and status had grown, and why I felt compelled to document it so relentlessly. So I decided to go back to the teen subjects from Los Angeles.
Always said. Oh, the 90s were crazy.
They're inhaling air freshener at nutrition break.
Nice.
That party that you photographed me in was probably one of the tamest parties I ever had. I mean, the shit I used to do. My father, he's the singer for our Speedwagon. When I was born was when he really started having some commercial success, which is good for him, bad for a kid trying to be parented. You know, we got raised backstage by a roadie. I could get away with murder because my dad was on the road, my mom was preoccupied, and how I got attention was by acting out and by getting in trouble. And it really does take a village to raise somebody, and I didn't get that. I was raised on an island with a butler.
What do you think it is about LA that makes kids grow up fast?
It just seems like everyone's in a rush to be an adult. They're losing their innocence so young now. I hope to stay young forever. I don't want to grow old.
I think I was maybe 17 when we first met. You came to my school and you told us you were doing a project. We became friends and you started following me around. You know, you can look from the outside and think, oh, her life is perfect, or she's pretty and she's homecoming queen and this and that, but you know.
My family struggled a lot with like financial problems, and These rich Beverly Hills kids can have anything their heart desires, you know? That was one way I didn't fit in.
It was kind of like a thing like, you're pretty so you can be our friend.
I was homecoming queen and I had best body.
That was what it was called, best body?
Well, it was the senior pole where I had the best physique, I guess.
So it was like you dressed with like tight clothes and trying to look sexy in the way that the magazines say, or like toward the male gaze.
Oh my God, look at that girl, Scotty. Hop in! Chica!
Nisha was my girlfriend in 7th or 8th grade in elementary school.
And you're a hot Latina.
Well,
with probably one of the best racks in high school. It's not bad. Let's be honest here, Eddie.
Hopefully this is cut. We don't want to be disrespectful.
Not being disrespectful. It's the truth, Eddie.
It is. Growing up here, we thought the entire world revolved around us.
I feel like I actually got pretty scarred from that time.
And did any of that stay with you?
Whatever things happened in high school is always what you're like trying to heal from later on in life, you know? It really, you're so young and impressionable that I think those experiences really shape you.
When I was in high school, I was really shy and a little insecure. And like most teenagers, I felt like I didn't fit in. I picked up photography to try to make sense of my world.
I mean, you went to a kind of a fancy high school. Education was important, and it would cost a lot of money to go there. We found a way to pay for it. But the values were not my own values. I think you, like a normal girl growing up in LA, suffered a little bit from it. You were trying to fit in from the viewpoint of clothes, nice house you could bring people to.
I think Crossroads made you anxious about keeping up with the Joneses. The Brentwood parents were afraid to let their daughters come and visit you in Venice because they thought it was too dangerous.
You actually one time got out of the car a block away from Crossroads so your friends wouldn't have to see the cars that I was driving.
I remember not being able to buy like the clothes that everybody else had.
Mm-hmm. The things you didn't have were the things that I didn't believe in.
The fact that I had everything I needed and still didn't feel like I had enough made me want to figure out why in my work.
Who was just knocking on my door? How you doing?
You don't go by Gmo anymore.
You can still call me Gmo.
Yeah?
Yeah. I came from a good family. I came from a real, you know, my parents worked hard every day. Very middle class, very much so. When I was in the 6th grade, I went to public school. It was just, you know, same old shit. But in the 7th grade, I went to this really expensive school, Crossroads. That's when I got my first good glimpse of a lot of money. And I was like, that's what I want. Black people aren't really supposed to have stuff in America. This rap thing is changing everything. Every time I move, the gold on me sparkle. Picking up my mail like the fools of Wells Fargo. Hollywood helped me out that day. Made my life like a movie. You see when the girl brought me a platter, go to 40 ounce on it. Everybody wants to have money. Everybody wants to be surrounded by beautiful women. Everybody wants to have the mansion. It's like the American dream kind of stuff. The dream, it was about you seeing me doing it big. You kind of started laying a blueprint back then, and it's been followed and followed. Now that's almost standard fare.
What Gmo noticed seemed to be a shift in the meaning of the American dream. It was almost like it had turned into a quest for fame and fortune, and we had left behind the values of hard work, frugality, and discretion that had defined our parents' generation.
Was your story an American dream story?
Well, in many respects it was, because my dad was an immigrant, and I started to achieve heights that my parents couldn't even imagine. It was a period of upward mobility.
And was it the American dream for your parents that you went to Harvard?
It was. My dad would say, yeah, my son Shelley, he goes to Harvard, 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 Harvard. He couldn't stop saying it. My dad tried to instill ideals in me, and many of them stuck.
Like?
Well, like trying to do good in the world. I think it was partly the times, yes. I was still basking in the ethos of the 60s and the 70s. The 80s started to actually change things quite a bit.
Can I come in?
Come in, come in, come in, come in.
Yeah. Oh my God, so opulent. Exactly not my world anymore. The origin of all this fascination with wealth is the U.S. government itself spending way beyond their means. And I'll try to keep this simple so I don't lose the viewer. In 71, America dropped off the gold standard. That basically meant the money in circulation was no longer backed by any assets.
The 70s was the turning point. We began to borrow to maintain both a lifestyle and an empire we could no longer afford. We shifted from an empire of production to an empire of consumption.
Abandonment of the gold standard led to an abandonment of fiscal discipline. Print it like crazy, make it like crazy.
We cut your tax rates by nearly 25%. America, go for it.
The values of the Reagan 80s really placed this emphasis on wealth. There was the idea that you were better off driving a BMW and looking super hot. Now, if you look great and you have a nice car, I'm all for it. But at the expense of what?
In the 80s, a lot of people I knew were going into banking. And a lot of them wanted to be like this fictional character, Gordon Gekko.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works.
I was definitely Gordon Gekko. My father told me, well, the closer you are to the money, the more you will have. The lights went on and something triggered up there and said, there must be a way to make so much money that you'd never look back. According to court statements, my wealth was at its peak 600 million euros, roughly $800 million, plus or minus whatever the exchange rate is.
For the sake of full disclosure, how do we know each other?
You were not even a senior. And at the very beginning of your filmmaking, I was attending Harvard Business School at the time. It's the West Point of capitalism.
Does Harvard Business School teach you how to be a good person?
No, we're fine-tuned to rule the world. That's it.
My dad was always like a larger-than-life figure, casting like a huge shadow. And I wanted to be just like him when I was a kid.
And what drove him?
He always wanted more, basically, in my opinion. More money, more power, and more fame/infamy.
I've been called psychopath because I could get so detached to thinking what is the best, highest return. I am also in exile and on the FBI most wanted list. That being as it is, if I'd been around 300 years earlier, I would have been a discoverer. But the most exciting thing you could do in our generation was to be a tycoon.
You have so much motivation for your work. What's your driver?
The money. My father worked on Wall Street, so definitely was in my blood. I mean, I'm 39 years old, haven't had a family yet, haven't ever been married. I was working on my career, so I wasn't focused on my personal life. I thought I could never be with anybody who made less money than I did. Now I'm making a lot of money, so, you know, the field has really narrowed substantially. I've tried to build up a real net worth, and I collect contemporary art. We now have like 100 pieces of art in the collection.
good. I like that with that stuff.
Because this is a late edition. Do you like it
We
better?
thought that was too posy. I think it's a little posy.
You think it's
It's like
too
Life magazine.
I brought in Trudy Wilnerstack, a longtime collaborator, to help me look through and edit the hundreds of thousands of pictures.
Everything's in the wrong place.
Clean person.
But you know what? You have your big assembly tomorrow. Have you learned everything for us? These two are from the bag party.
What's a bag party?
The day I went to buy the Louis Vuitton handbag, I was the happiest girl in the world. I took the bag and everyone, oh God, you bought your bag. Oh yes, it's beautiful. And everybody bows to the bag. And then I said, okay, what next?
I have a combination of many bags. I guess my bag of choice is the classic Birkin. I have them, I think, in almost every color.
These are Hermes bags that women collect, some owning hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars worth of bags. And the bags start $20,000, go up.
And how do you, a therapist, know so much information about the Birkin bag?
I see them every day. It's part of my life. You know, as much as you can dismiss or scoff at people obsessing about their Birkin bags, I think it really does say something about their mental health, something that at its best probably can and should be addressed.
I started off with just a tiny little skinny chain, and it grew into this. 33 pounds of gold and diamonds given to me by superstars of the world, dead and gone legends. I absolutely love old world elegance.
And you're famous for...
I'm a two-time Guinness Book world record holder of the longest limousine in the world with a swimming pool and a helicopter landing pad and a Boeing 727 jet limo. When you pull up in the limousine, they don't know who you are, but they think you're someone. The bigger, the longer they are, the more exotic they are, the more the head turns.
You gotta fake it till you make it. It just gives off that image that I should be worshipped almost, you know what I'm saying? I'm somebody you're not. I can afford this, you can't. That somehow propels them in this culture.
Poor people are the ones that spend the most money on the $700 shoes, the ones that don't have it.
You want the ones with the bars and the sparkly, the bedazzles on the side with the shiny when you walk, you know what I mean? Make the girls sweat. You're gonna pay about $1,200, $1,300, you know what I mean?
It's about exclusivity. Can you call up and get you a pair of the fresh Giuseppe's, or do you get to go in the back of the Versace store and shop? The American dream, to me, it's all about status right now. It's the new doctor in front of your name.
We hold out the illusion of the American dream, but not only can we and our children not attain what generations had before, but things are getting worse. When there is no social mobility, the only social mobility you have is fictitious. The presentation that you give to the rest of the world denies your own reality. I've come to look at mass culture, and in particular television, as a form of violence. Because 24 hours a day, this fictitious lifestyle, which we're all told that we can have, fuels this sense of inadequacy.
People used to compare themselves to their neighbors, and they aspired to the neighbor that had a little bit more than they had.
This is so beautiful. This is like we're in Italy, honey.
What's changed is that now people spend more time with the people they see on TV than their actual neighbors. And they want what they have.
Like, I probably know the names of the Kardashians better than I know the names of my neighbors.
If you watch anything long enough, you're gonna kind of think it's real. You're gonna start making decisions based on what you've seen on TV.
I do believe in the American dream.
owning a home is a part of that dream. If one of the goals is to increase home ownership, it makes sense to help people pay that down payment.
When we put down the rules, I said, well, this rule is not going to help me make money, right? So let's tone this rule down. So we set the playing field right for us only. Not for the investor, not for the loan taker, for us.
The American economy has retained its momentum.
Mr. Greenspan, let's open the floodgates and allows everybody to borrow money. If you give money out at no cost to hundreds of millions worldwide, they're going to do stupid things with it.
We never thought out to build the biggest house in America. It's like kind of happened.
When I made the film The Queen of Versailles with David and Jackie Siegel, who were trying to build a palace inspired by the real Versailles in France, what I saw was the dream that everyone had, but bigger. And they did it the same way everyone else did, which was by borrowing.
You think every American wants to feel rich?
I think so. Everyone wants to be rich. If they can't be rich, the next best thing is to feel rich. And if they don't want to feel rich, then they're probably dead.
It seemed like we were all addicted to consumerism. And with globalization, it kind of spread like a virus.
There was so much money, it was crazy. I was working as a sailor, and then there was a boom in Iceland. Everyone wanted to go work in the bank, and I was also want to try like other people.
In 2003, the tiny fishing country of Iceland began the most rapid expansion of a banking system in the history of humankind.
It was a big salary in the bank. We were just a small country, and the president of Iceland said he will be the best in the business. And the bank loaned everyone money, everyone. You see the movie from Hollywood and want to have something more extra. When we were making the house, my wife, see decoration magazine, said, "Oh, that is beautiful." It was just like Cardasia.
What is it?
Cardasia.
Kardashians?
Kardashians, yeah, sorry. I built a waterfall in his house. It is an old dream to have a sauna in the house. It's ridiculous.
Building big to express success and status was not limited to Europe or the United States. In China, I met a businessman who built a full-scale replica of the White House, and the view from his office was Mount Rushmore. This trip in 2000 was my first big foreign assignment, and an opportunity to cover the new wealth in China. But the timing was rough. When Noah was 2 weeks old, Time magazine sent me a fax offering me the job. I took it to Frank crying and said, "I told you my career would be over when I had a baby." At that time, the women who were successful photographers had chosen not to be mothers. Frank was like, "What are you talking about? You should go." I asked the pediatrician if it would be damaging to a baby to be separated from its mother at 10 weeks. And he said it'll be fine for the baby, but it's too punishing for the mother. I convinced myself that Noah would be fine. So I pumped 300 ounces of milk and went to China for 10 days. Being away was hard, but over the next 14 years, I still made 11 more trips to China and Russia because the stories were so compelling. With histories of revolutions that tried to abolish class and inequality, the desire for luxury and status was even stronger.
30 years ago, China was an incipient basket case. I mean, it was total isolation. Everybody was on bicycles. China is now the biggest market for all the Western luxury brands. What the modern-day Chinese woman is looking for today is a guide. Their mothers grew up during the Cultural Revolution, right? So nobody could teach them how to wear lingerie.
Whenever you carry your hat or you put your hat on your lap, never show the inside. It's like showing the inside of your clothes. How to eat a banana elegantly with a knife and fork.
然后我一稳定之后，你看我的刀，然后呢，这个刀呢，你就可以看到，我就是90度哦，然后我就会这么。
Some people have criticized me, saying, "Oh well, you know, why are these people paying $16,000 US to go learn how to cut an orange elegantly?" But everybody who's taken the class has said it's worth every penny spent.
In Russia 20 years ago, they have a small apartment or small house. They don't have possibilities to have big house like mine.
The new Russians, the rich Russians, they built huge libraries, very expensive, with fantastic books, and they are not opening it, and it's not touchable. You cannot even. May I look at this book? No. It's very expensive. So what? It's a book.
In Moscow, the debutante ball of the 19th century has been revived. But instead of aristocrats, the girls coming out are the daughters of oligarchs and celebrities.
Разница между балами «Война и мир» и старой России, и те балы, которые сегодня, это как вот реальная жизнь и театр.
The ball is sponsored by Maserati and Chanel, and is basically a way to sell luxury brands to Russian women. In thinking about the Wealth Project, I started seeing connections with work I had done for a book called Girl Culture. For years, I had been looking at how girls learn from a young age that their bodies have currency. Beauty is how you win.
When I was single, I dated all kinds of guys. Yeah, I even dated Donald Trump.
And why do we have to suffer to be beautiful?
I guess it must be a man's world out there.
Women get their legs waxed, their bikinis waxed, they do these cosmetic procedures, they have to put on makeup. Women get the short end of the stick because we work the same hours and do all the same thing and then have all this other stuff to do.
I first met Suzanne for a story I was doing for a magazine about who spends the most on body maintenance. And Suzanne spent the most, by far.
I think looking good is important in any business, not just mine. I'm out dealing with clients, selling something in a sense. People like dealing with attractive people. It's human nature.
It's very apparent, the weight that's put on having longer hair that's less like nappy and having lighter skin.
When I was in 11th grade, like some people started to make fun of me because I was darker skinned, and I kind of got down on myself after that. We base beauty off of one thing, and however close you are to that one thing makes you prettier than other people.
When you were born, you were in the 50th percentile for height and the 90th percentile for weight. So I knew that, you know, being short and a little bit round was your genetic body, but it wasn't the body, you know, of the magazines and television, and so you weren't satisfied with it. You know, I think I kept you on the right path in terms of avoiding an eating disorder, which you later studied.
When I made my first film, Thin, about women with eating disorders, it was really looking at the heart of darkness of mental illness. But a social historian told me, psychopathologies come and go. But they always tell us about the historical time period in which they're produced.
Eating disorders are really common in the United States, 1 in 7, and they flourish in countries of affluence where food is abundant and where withholding food has power.
Chantel had an eating disorder, and she felt modeling was exploitative. So she started cutting herself, and she had really mutilated her body because she said she wanted to damage the property. When she referred to her body as property, that really brought home the idea of the commodification of the body.
What does beautiful mean to you?
That I get money and I'm gonna be
not
superstar.
We probably got $100,000 invested in the last 4.5 years. You have wardrobe, you have hair, you have makeup, you have coaching. The town that we are from has a population of 566. Just the fact that someone picked her to be on Toddlers and Tiaras was amazing to me. Mom here got to thinking, what would be the biggest thing that we could do for a 3-year-old? That's how the showgirl costume came to be. And she won. The connotations that come with the Vegas showgirl never crossed my mind. Apparently, the derriere part would be open or topless, but, you know, I wanted glamour and feathers and glitz. I always say that maybe if you think there was something inappropriate, and maybe there's something wrong with your thought process, because Mama here doesn't see it that way.
We're a completely pornified culture. The images of porn are now so pervasive and accessible throughout the society. They've leached into popular culture.
Are you serious?
It's TV, like the internet, ads. I know like a lot of like kids and stuff like watch like porn, and that's also where a lot of it comes from, like the unrealistic like women. I think most people, like probably including me, were like exposed to porn at like 7th grade maybe. You're seeing stuff that's just completely fake. It's just like, it's a movie. And like there's a camera crew just like this. Everything's scripted. People believe it because like they want to believe it. And I think that's like how like real interactions are.
Does that affect the kinds of pictures your friends are posting?
Yeah. I see like a lot of my friends in like very revealing bikinis to make sure they get a lot of likes. I did an Instagram study. The photos that didn't receive a lot of likes were stuff like family and stuff that like kids were trying to get away from. Guys want what's really demeaning for women, and to match like guys' expectations, I think like a lot of women probably try to replicate it.
Perfect.
I actually do have an interview with that girl where she says we want to dance like strippers.
I want to be a dancer, topless dancing showgirl. I think it'd be fun, dancing with my tits shown off. If I can accomplish being that, then I can accomplish anything.
Booty up and tip your booty side to side. So it's almost like a little back stretch.
There were even trendy exercise classes that taught cardio striptease.
So we're half an arm from our pole, right hand is up. We step with your inside foot, spin. Yep, shift to the left this time. And you could just keep your handcuffs on if you prefer. So let's roll over and crawl and act like we like it.
When you're documenting the effects of popular culture, it's almost like the air we breathe. It's everywhere, and so it's hard to actually see it. Like DJ Esco, I was both critic and participant. Shooting for magazines gave me the front row seat to the popular culture that I needed for my own work.
Yeah, we do later, yeah.
Where's Charlie now? Is he in rehab?
I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have one speed, I have one gear. Go.
It appears Charlie checked himself before he wrecked himself, writing a $30,000 check for porn star and party animal, Casey Jordan.
Amy said he gave you an unusual tip, like a ball of Coke.
It was huge. My dream was always to be an actress. It really makes you feel like a movie star when you're in makeup. It was kind of like the film career that I always wanted. Got a plane ticket, found an agent.
I got phone calls from everybody at ABC, and they are like overwhelmed by how many people liked you. That was pretty cool.
It was definitely the feeling of being really close to my dream. You know, before I left Oregon, I was living out of my car, so I didn't have to live under my parents' rules. And I was living off Taco Bell because it's the cheapest thing you can do. I had 88 cents, and the bean burrito was 89 cents. I just broke down crying at the Taco Bell cashier. And a year later, I was living across from the Grove on the top penthouse floor. That was one of the coolest moments of my life, was that feeling of success. You know, I was like buying my sister, my family. I'm like, oh, here's a flat screen. Like, let's go to Best Buy and just pick out whatever you want. You know, it's just cash. It was just like from 0 to 100, and I was addicted.
So you guys ready? I was determined to make something out of myself. Leaving Kansas, so Mama, one day you're gonna see me walk a red carpet. I was a single mother coming to Vegas. I vowed to make that money to be able to give my son something and to always be able to take care of myself where I didn't depend on a man. What I do in Las Vegas is a pretty important business when it comes to VIPs. Everybody wants to feel like a rock star. I've got to make sure that they've got the best tables or cabanas that are around $10,000. That they have the best bottle service. If you've got the girls, you've got the game.
She's not a madam. Just want to clarify that out right now, from her son. I mean, sure, blonde hair, big boobs, yeah, I know a lot of those, but you don't compare her to Tiffany. Like, she's Queen of Vegas, you know?
You wearing underwear?
Mom, legs.
And it's white. At least I have panties on
Have
this
some
time.
class, don't show ass.
Ooh, I like that. Are you out tonight? Question mark. Trouble is a brewing.
I've seen a lot. You couldn't show me anything else that would make my head spin. I mean, I've seen everything from $5,000 contests to see who looks best naked. I've done bachelor parties for girls to do in toy shows on a hotel room floor.
Toy shows, that means erotic toys?
Yes.
I'm such an untraditional mom. It's been like a challenge, like am I going to bring him out into this nightlife or not? And I'm bringing him in.
I'd love to DJ for as long as I could possibly use my fingers, but I'm also really big into lizards, so if I ever retired one day, I would just probably own a pet store. Probably make me happy.
We're in the VIP suite of the Artemis Wellness Club, some would say Bordello in Berlin. I used to be co-investor in here. We're matching buyers, well, technically you call them Johns in America, and the sellers, which we would prefer to call sex workers, not even prostitutes.
I lost my virginity when I was like 15 to a prostitute in Amsterdam, and my dad was the one who actually took me there.
My son was driving me absolutely nuts with this girl and that girl, and I'm like having bets in school, who will kiss the first girl, and I said, we're going to Amsterdam, young man.
And he's like, you're almost turning 16, I can't believe you're still a virgin. I lost my virginity when I was 14 to a prostitute that I paid with a jar of coins.
It's like a rite of initiation.
Did you pay for it?
Yeah, I can't let my son pay for it. I'm completely criminal.
And he paid her like a bonus for teaching me how to have sex properly.
Unfettered, unregulated capitalism does what it's designed to do, which is commodify everything. Even human beings become commodities that you exploit for profit until exhaustion or collapse.
Did you ever take painkillers or drugs to get through a scene?
Yeah, a lot of times. Like I actually had my ass torn last year, and I took a lot of painkillers for that one. I did a 58 guy bukkake. Is there more than 50?
I doubt it.
Is there less than 50? Is there two?
Guys, quiet, listen!
58 loads to the face. So much for makeup and hair. And I am still remembered, like, oh, I love that scene you did. And it's like, I get a lot of clients from just the fact that I did that scene.
Should I blow more? Not yet.
As much work as I've gotten from it, it was worth it.
Good job.
But I actually got salmonella. It's like a foodborne illness, and I got it.
Good job.
Oh my God! Because probably someone had it and went in my eye or something. It was so weird. I wanted to do something cool or something, you know, where I could be remembered, but yeah, and it worked. Yeah, I always say Kim's my inspiration for I can still make it, you know, because I have lots of sex tapes to show, and maybe I'll still come out on top somehow.
This is pretty hardcore. Well, maybe we should, you know, not think about it too much.
Oh my God. When we started, we thought we were going to go through about 5 file cabinets of pictures, and then we ended up going through 500,000 pictures. Almost everything I had done related to this theme and this project.
Going through the pictures, I realized wealth was much more than money. It was whatever gave us value. Sexuality, branding, even youth. When I was in my 20s, I went to the dermatologist for a routine checkup. And unsolicited, he offered me Botox. I was so shocked to find out that I had a problem I didn't know existed that I realized this could be a project. People were not aging like in prior generations. So I started documenting the value of staying young and the cost of not being who you are and yearning to be something different. Cosmetic procedures weren't just for the rich anymore. Most people who got them made less than $50,000 a year.
I looked at many cable shows of people who had plastic surgery.
She has worked harder on herself than she ever has before in her life.
I ate it up.
It's almost like there's a new version of the American dream. The physical makeover as the rags to riches success story. Kathy was a school bus driver and single mom.
I took a raw look at myself. I was no longer married. I didn't have the financial stability that I wanted. I didn't own a home. That had been one of my goals for years. I could let that go. What really mattered in life was to be in the best body that I could. The summer of '07 is when all the opportunities seemed to converge. I went to Brazil to get plastic surgery. I had pregnancy that really had distorted my body. Carrying so large with a 9-pound baby, I had a lot of skin.
And how'd that make you feel when you looked in the mirror?
Awful. And I had contemplated how it affects my daughter. She was an early bloomer, and she was about to enter into an age where her body would change even more rapidly. I'd always come to the conclusion that me satisfying my own body issues was the best thing I could do for her.
If I said to your kids, where's your mom now, what would they say?
In Brazil, getting her tummy tucked. They're very happy for me. I've also added to the list a breast lift and breast augmentation. I've been convinced that I would look wonderful with a little Brazilian butt lift. And we are sculpting under my neck with lipo, and we are reshaping my nose to refine it, refine the tip, and get rid of a bump. I paid for it on credit. I didn't have all the money at the time. It was sort of a miracle unfolding in front of me. But my parents did help me some, which was not a position I wanted to put them in. But my mother, I believe, recognized that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me.
Is the plastic surgery here the same as in the United States?
It's different. The anesthesiologist like to use this technique. General anesthetic, it's not necessary.
I was thinking it's not like buying a purse. I could take a purse back. What if I make the wrong decision? I'm a little overwhelmed, I'm a little confused, and I'm more alone than I thought.
Okay.
Do I know what I'm doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm a good mother. I'm a good person. I might be indulgent. Oh, I can't tell. I see. The greatest relief was seeing myself changed, better. When considering one's own body, that's a life skill, a coping skill that every young woman has to develop. My daughter, that was hard for her. It was the changing emotions of emerging on adulthood. She went in her bedroom at the time and she cut herself. She carved letters in her forehead. Dead. As if she wished she were dead. And that was the hardest thing I've dealt with in my life. The hardest thing. Why would you intentionally distort, deface your body? I felt it was a failure of myself to impart to her how much she's loved and how much she's worth.
I always wanted children. I waited till 40. I thought it was time to get married. We had already seen fertility specialists who said, you know, you should start yesterday, not tomorrow. As we sit here today, I'm in the process of doing my 5th IVF cycle. We're not talking about $500, $600, $800. We're talking about 5 times in, you're at $100,000. You know, our charity dollars this year went towards trying to get pregnant. The process has cut our social life way back. It's not romantic. It's not, oh, let's drink a wonderful bottle of wine and make love and, you know, here we got pregnant. I had hired the best doctors. I was paying top dollar. If I read somewhere that, you know, exercising wasn't good, I stopped exercising. If I read somewhere that Mayan uterine massage was good, I went and had Mayan uterine massage. I've cut back on the Botox more because I'm concerned about injecting botulism toxin into my body. You know, maybe that's not such a good idea if I'm trying to get pregnant. So I've kind of done it less. You know, it's funny, after my failed cycle this summer, I hadn't had Botox in like an hour. I went right in to make myself feel better. My time was running out in terms of getting a viable egg. I knew somebody through business who said, get my surrogate to do it for you. My doctor, when he first examined Jennifer, said, you know, this woman's like a walking baby carrier. Like, this is, like, great.
When you surrogate, you just have to have a strong mindset that you're kind of babysitting for 9 months, you know? I'm holding on to it, I'm going to take care of it for you, and then I'm handing it off.
Was it expensive to do a surrogate?
Very.
And what did you need the extra money for?
Right now we have a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, which I'm okay with it, but I don't know. Bigger is better, right?
Jennifer was great in the sense that it was my thing. She did what I wanted her to do. And so I micromanaged pretty much every aspect of it.
She thinks about things like I never thought about not standing in front of the microwave because it would affect me getting pregnant, or don't drink out of styrofoam cups, no sugar substitutes.
Was your husband equally committed to having a baby?
You know, the answer is no. The reality is after the 5th or 6th try, he was no longer that interested. So it was really a very solo journey for me.
It's me, myself, and I, and my worth, which is net worth, nothing else. I had homes of 20,000 square feet I had never spent a night in because I was too busy working. Hard to believe if you do the math, but in busy days, 300 to 500 telephone calls a day.
I think the first time he retired, he had a lot of money already. I don't know how much. He could have stopped working and led a family life if he had wanted to.
We were renting a castle in France in the boondocks. There was no cell signal. My kids still today laugh when they said I was climbing on the highest peaks, holding up my telephone to get a signal. That vacation cost me at least $3 or $4 million in foregone profit.
My dad was always like completely disinterested in the family life. We found out he had an affair. I think she was either a stripper or a go-go dancer.
How was she different from your wife?
This is hilarious. Yes, fake breasts. Very commercially minded.
Well, tell me about this intense love for excess, whether it's money, women,
work. How can a 100-hour work week not compromise your relationship with anything that's worthwhile?
As I went deeper into my subject's obsessions, I was surprised they reflected my own. And I remember when I photographed Shelley, one of the anorexic girls in Thin, she said, "Work is your addiction."
Are you me? Are you on a filming boycott?
Yes. Stop!
Why do you think I have a problem?
You're filming every second of our lives?
Do you think I'm a workaholic?
A workaholic? Yeah, like. And your mom is even more than you.
And do you think Noah's similar?
Yeah, Noah is a little Lauren, definitely.
Noah might be more intense than me.
1, 2, 41, 3, 4, light and quick.
Where did the addiction to work come from, do you think?
I think it came from you. I think you're a way bigger workaholic than I am.
No, you're a way bigger workaholic than I am. How long is the longest you've gone on a shoot? I would say 6 weeks or 2 months. I never went away that long. Never.
I don't know, I had a lot more time with Dad.
Did Dad kind of compensate?
Yeah.
It made Frank have that very close connection. which has sustained us since that time. It allows me to travel and do the work.
I just kind of grew up with you not really being around. Sounds kind of bad, but I think the damage is already done. Are you okay? Yeah?
I haven't gotten to talk to him yet. He called Frank, and Noah just got a perfect score on his ACT. Hey, Noah, it's Mom. Give me a call when you're out of class. Okay, bye. Love you. I think he's just happy. He worked hard. It's his achievement, you know. He didn't even call me to tell me. It's just like he's happy.
I've always thought that balance was kind of overrated. I'm often chasing my own obsessions with as much adrenaline as my subjects. Even though I wasn't going for tons of money or the perfect body, I was always looking for more and more.
I'm going to be pretty wide, so you'll sit behind me. Let's see how this works. Okay, look at me. You can look up like that, like you were a second ago. Yeah. Look up again like you just were. Beautiful.
I would love to see this fixed. I would love to see my thighs fixed. My butt needs to be fixed.
I saw a similar addiction among women with eating disorders.
I would lose 5 pounds and it still wasn't good enough. And I'd lose 5 more and it still wasn't good enough.
The fame. It's such a rush. You know, instant tweets and instant posts. Wow.
Every day I see dancers that are addicted to the pole money.
Success becomes its own perpetual vehicle. You're part of this game where the more the better again. And the billion is better than 100 million. I was a hamster in a diamond-studded gold wheel.
You sell your soul to the devil. Because you get burnt out so bad that you just numb it. Where you don't feel the hand on your ass anymore. We detach. And then you put on the game again. If not, it destroys you.
There is this place that is too far and everyone ends up there. When money is success, it's impossible to not want to keep going. Why wouldn't you? Because if a lot is good, more is better.
You were trapped in your own ambition.
Right now, breaking news here, stocks all around the world are tanking because of the price.
Capital, like any other resource in excess, will cause utter social and economic havoc.
When the financial crash of 2008 happened, it felt like a global tsunami of devastation. There were eerily similar scenes in all the places hardest hit, which I followed.
And what about your house?
We are in foreclosure.
And what's it like as a man, as the breadwinner, to go through this?
Degrading. You know, after trying so hard to keep something you love so much, and then they want to come in and take it.
I was just trying to make a home for me and my daughter. That's all I was trying to do.
When even David and Jackie Siegel's dream home ended up with a fetid pool and facing foreclosure, for me it was almost like a symbol of our collective greed and its price.
In my path to fairly quick wealth, that made some enemies. And I would get a threat or a lawsuit. I said, take a ticket, walk to position 134 in the line, fuck off. There were allegations against me. They basically said I've conspired to defraud.
Our CIO, Florian Holm, resigns unexpectedly in a rather dramatic way.
Florian Holm absconded to Colombia. The SEC alleges that he defrauded investors out of about $200 million.
I packed up a few things and I found my way to Colombia.
Tell me about packing up a few things.
You know, the euro bills are so compact, 500 euros, it's almost a $700 bill. And you can literally pack $500,000 on you. You have these elastic bands which, in your Calvin Klein underwear, then you can stuff them there. And they rarely pad you in your, well, genital area. At the time I was very attached to money still, literally.
Well, after 5 years on the lam, Florian Holm finally nabbed. He faces 4 counts of conspiracy, wire fraud, and security fraud.
American justice had me arrested in Italy. I ended up in Florence prison in a cell of 20 square yards with mentally deranged, violent criminals. I felt horrible. Abandoned. Completely abandoned. I was completely estranged from my children. So the provider no longer provides. What's his purpose? What's my purpose?
As a kid who came from a rock star family who had every advantage, I just kind of like, I shouldn't even try. I'm never gonna get here, so why try to get here? Because that's never, like, that's not good enough. You know what I mean? I'm not a rock star. I'm a bartender. I'm a server. I'm a whatever job I had to, you know, get by. I had to numb just to be able to deal with the mundane life. I definitely didn't set out to become addicted to, you know, pretty hard opiates. And for like 2 or 3 months, I started smoking crack. You know, I did any type of painkiller, and those kind of make you feel warm and fuzzy. And I used to say it was like the hug I never got as a kid kind of thing.
Legacy. Some days I wear legacy like a weight, too big a burden to bear, like something that's just out of reach. Legacy is how I run some days, trying to keep up with my family's achievements. Legacy is my brother getting a perfect ACT score, 36 out of 36. And I remember crying that night because I didn't know if I would be able to get such a good score, and wondering if my parents would still be proud of me. Some days, legacy haunts me like an idea that's stuck in your brain, and no matter how much you try and ignore it, it never gets out of your head. Legacy is my life.
That's great. Wow.
You wrote that today?
Yeah, I did.
How did you feel the pressure of legacy?
Because both my parents went to Harvard. You're such a weirdo! Dad, do you see this?
Why do you feel the pressure?
Why do you feel the pressure of legacy?
I'm asking Noah.
Why do you feel the pressure of legacy?
I don't want Noah to feel the pressure of legacy.
Or why have you acted like someone who's had enormous pressure of legacy on you?
I had that too with my parents. My parents went to Harvard too. And do you think I was a happy child?
Do you think you were a happy child?
I don't know. I remember a lot of anxieties and insecurities.
Really? What kind?
Just, I don't know. I think probably coming from divorce and
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you're being away, I don't know. But I just always remember being anxious.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember?
Okay, let me actually go back. When I had you, I had a PhD. I was a graduate student in culture and human development. The women's movement was just starting. I suddenly realized I was doing all of the childcare. My career was going down the tubes. Your dad was just focusing on his career. We decided to separate, and I knew I wouldn't lose touch with you if I wasn't with you 5 days a week and I was just with you on the weekends.
Let's just talk about the fact that you got a job in another city from Dad, and we lived with Dad.
He wanted to be physically close to you most of the time, and in general, mothers don't need to be close to their children geographically to keep the attachment and the relationship. I understand years later that you felt abandoned, but, you know, then that's understandable because we had been very close.
And did you come to visit us every weekend?
No, you traveled to Santa Cruz every weekend with Matthew on the plane.
Was that unusual at the time for a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old to be traveling alone?
I had a very, very tortured relationship with my mother. My mother didn't work, her priorities were different, we always had tons of help and people other than my mother taking care of us, even though she didn't work.
So you want to be different than she was?
I think when you go through the journey that I went to become a mother, like, you embrace every aspect of it.
Anytime I would tell her anything, she would freak out. So I started having contractions early in the morning, and I text her, I'm like, don't panic, but...
Of course, I panicked. She came 3.5 months early. I had left the labor and delivery room, went out into the hallway, and was really kind of losing it. And the doctor came out and said, you've got to come right now, we're having a baby. You know, I remember looking at him and saying, where did you go to medical school? And he told me where, and I was like, that doesn't work for me. To his credit, he looked at me and said, lady, I'm all you got right now.
And then around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, our water burst.
It was over, and, you know, they grab her. I mean, she was the size of my hand. And they grab her and they put her on a table and they put them in a plastic bag, and there's a team of 10 people around her, so you can't even see what's going on. And I just remember being absolutely terrified. Because they prepare you for the worst. I wanted her more than anything in the world.
After the Charlie Sheen media blowout, the scandal, I was constantly getting followed, like a normal celebrity probably would. I started feeling really bad. It's like a lifestyle that maybe I would have wanted, but the fame, it did more like long-term damage to me than I thought it could.
Hey, you okay? You can do it!
You're doing good so far. Don't feel like that.
No. You're doing fine.
What's she doing? Oh, she tried to kill herself. This is Alperzan, aka Xanax. This is FOPM. Let's watch me die. Bye. I wanted to reinvent myself. I needed surgery just to make myself feel better. I started off with my boobs. I did 3 nose jobs. Another reason for the bigger boobs and the different me was because the fetishes were generally like me being underage. It's rare for a grown adult like me, woman, to have the body of like a 14-year-old. So that was why it sold so much. I've become this like new persona that I've created, Davini. That was like my way of like kind of finally growing up. Speaking of, the morning sickness. Okay, I'm actually pregnant now. It's my 11th time. I think it's a good time, so I'm deciding to go through with it. And I just decided that on Sunday. Yesterday. Yeah.
Immediately after Brazil, I was never comfortable financially. I was just thinking, how do I pick up normal life, keep them in school, and find ways to pay off this debt?
And were you working full-time as a bus driver that whole time?
Yes.
So why didn't you have enough money if you had a full-time job?
Because they don't pay! Money, dollars, dinero is what it takes. My parents supplemented some of my monthly budget. And after I'd had the surgery, I couldn't have asked them to keep paying for how we live when I went and got this thing which could seem to be a luxury.
And how long did you live in the car?
I can't even count how long. You don't tally it along the way. You will go crazy. My mother had wanted custody. She knew that I couldn't pay my rent in 2008. I never wanted to surrender my children, but I didn't have enough money to keep them. I know that if I had gotten my crap together with more money, she wouldn't be dead. She wasn't just a self-destructive girl, and she was a good child. And sometimes I think, oh, Jazz wants to come visit. For a minute. It's in my CD changer in the car. Sometimes I'll forget or get distracted, and the CD will turn over, and I hear the 911 call.
Fairfax County 911, where is your emergency?
My emergency, my granddaughter, she was drunk. I was taking her home. The car was going about 30 miles an hour, and she jumped out of the back seat. She opened the door. She's on Lehigh.
It's the same place I birthed her was the same place I saw her die. They had just removed the ventilator, and I could sit with her. I told her I'm sorry. I apologized. I told her I was sorry that I couldn't protect her more. And I had to go on living.
I remember a long time ago, my wife and I, we were in the most posh harbor in the Balearic Islands in the Mediterranean. And there were plenty of boats, 30, 40, 50 million, some of them for sale. And then we sat down for dinner, and I said, this one, this one, this one, or this one? A woman said, turn off your phone. That's all I want. Nice dinner. And it takes a long trip to come back to what matters, the other stuff. It's a delusion. It's a bullshit game. All of us are following a toxic dream. What you're sold in this world is a bag of rotten goods.
At the end of a decayed culture, we retreat into our own comforting illusions. We build walls to cope with the reality around us.
It's not about me, it's about you, believe me.
People have a hard time separating reality from entertainment, you know, because there is a line. There's a thick line. It's not a thin one.
Corporate capitalism pushes people towards this constant search for the next adrenaline rush. People seek that momentary exodus to escape from a darker and darker reality. The population is diverted. Sexual hedonism predominates throughout the society. We are dying in the same way that other empires have died throughout history. The difference is that this time, when we go down, the whole planet's going to go with us.
Maybe I want to be in the big palace where all the fancy people were. But in the end, when you see it, it was just air. In the boom, I work a banking business. And then all collapsed in Iceland, and I was sacked. My boss said, "You're not allowed to go back to your desk. Thank you." Now, for me to go from the bank to the sea, I have gone the circle I started when I began. The people go backward to their roots, the family, the children, friends. That's a good thing about collapse. Skerð hérna.
Oj!
Hérna. Þetta rosa vel hjá þér. Ekki, bara sarka.
Ég vil ekki sjá þetta, þetta ókei.
Þetta bara...
Sleipu upp!
Sleipu upp!
Ég vil ræða annan fisk. Það sker.
What I have learned is be more with the people which you love. That's the most valuable that you can get in the world.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for forgiving us. For you bless his food and bless his family. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. When we talked in 1995, you predicted you would be a millionaire.
I did, and you know what's so funny? When we were going to do this, I was like, man, you know what? I told her I was going to have $20 million on hand cash and another $100 million in the bank.
So did it happen?
No, not at this moment. I believe that the dream, it's different now. Success is showing my children what a strong father looks like, what work ethic looks like.
He taught me that just because you have money doesn't mean you're like all that.
A nice watch or a nice car isn't going to get you to college. It's what you know, not what you have.
My daughter, she got a full ride scholarship to Cornell University. She's a genius. I have the big red Cornell sweater right now. I wear it every day. I wear it around the house. I would love to see all of them go to college. That's the true American dream.
I wanted to come back home to Oregon so I could make amends with my family and go through with the pregnancy. But I lost the child, and you know, it's really hard to kind of bounce back from that. This whole year I've definitely felt myself wanting to stop and change a career path. I work at Tan Republic, which is the job that I had at 14. It's very difficult going back to minimum wage from what I've made these past 8-9 years. There was a couple overdoses, and I had over $1 million in medical bills. I declared bankruptcy just to start over fresh. Now anything porn or complete nudity, I'm completely retired from that. I really wanted to be me again. I thought maybe Courtney was lost among all the previous scandals and my films. And I feel like finally, once again, I can really start off with being Courtney again.
On any journey,
You sometimes have to go back and find your roots, and that's kind of what we've done the last 2 years. It was time to take a break.
We aren't like doing that reality TV show. We're just being normal right now.
Eden has been a winner in everything she's ever done, and I feel like the door just went. It was a new scenario because up until that point it had been just you've got this child that is extremely talented, but you're so hungry for it, you're blinded by that proverbial carrot that's dangled out there. You're just a commodity. It's what the American people want to see. They get off work, they want to turn that clicker on and, whatever. I didn't like who I had become. I didn't like that other people had been able to accomplish ugly things through me in Eden's life. I mean, major mistakes. Would I do it all again? I think I would. I think I would. I really don't even have to think about it because I wouldn't have had the awakening and the knowledge any other way.
I was imprisoned for 15 months without a trial. And they let me go.
The luckiest man in the world. He avoided getting extradited and facing a 225-year criminal sentence.
They put me on a list. There's the likes of Osama bin Laden with the global arrest warrant. But I'm completely legally here in Germany, and I cannot be extradited by the Americans. So I'm living in a very big, beautiful prison called Germany. If you think that money will buy you anything and everything, you have never, ever, ever had money. Because I can't buy that smile on my daughter's and my son's face, and I can't buy the love in bed of my wife. I can't.
You think he learned a lesson from being in jail?
I feel like a lot of his regrets are that he kept pushing it to the point where he fell, and he just wishes that he had not fallen.
Yeah, I'm still not sure how I feel about everything regarding my father.
3 days after the birth, I went home, but Suzanne was there for almost 2 months. She was very tiny. She did really well, though.
I got the prize. You know, she's here, and she's happy and healthy and smiling and, you know, a terrific little kid. And so it doesn't matter anymore how I got here. I'm here. That experience changed me so dramatically. But my ex-husband left 6 weeks after I brought her home from the hospital. I mean, he's now with somebody 40 years younger than he is. You know, I don't know how you can be 70 married to a 30-year-old. No, that's backwards. You got to put it forwards. Remember, move the lever. All right, now try. I think she knows not to touch the art. Wait, stop.
Have your priorities changed?
Yeah, there's no question. Go. How I spend money, right? A lot less art, a lot more ballet, or piano, or front row tickets to the gazillion Bubble show. I am not working as hard as I have over the years. You know, I take Sydney B to school every day. I pick her up. In fact, the activities I don't take her to is just where there's no value add to me being there.
And how are your priorities different than your mother's?
I don't know that I can answer that question. The last real contact I had with my mother, I was 22 years old. So even if I knew, I don't think I would know. I mean, what do you know at 22?
And did you resolve with her before she passed away?
No. Delicious.
I'm feeding you, Mommy.
Do you have any regrets about how you raised your children?
About how I raised my children? That's a really hard question. I wish I had known you felt abandoned sooner, because I think that we could have talked about it, opened up that conversation, and it would have improved our relationship earlier, so you didn't have that sort of inside you all the time. Thanks, Mom. Better than doing it at my funeral.
Conscious parenting is about realizing how your kids are teachers. They're like mirrors, and a lot of times they're here to spark things up, you know, within you that, you know, you need to heal or you need to work on. I feel protective over her. She's so beautiful, and I don't want her to have to go through like what I had to go through. I think about that time and how even I used to dress, and now I'm like, oh my God, I would never, you know, once a high I had to go out like that. She doesn't watch TV. We don't have a TV in the house. Cutting that out and just having her reality be what she sees from her mom or dad or grandparents, it's been amazing.
I didn't get what I needed as a kid, and I'm not mad about it anymore. Like, I've done a lot of work to get where I am. This is just the hand I was dealt, and really I just want to use that as ammo to be a good parent. Whatever causes good self-esteem, it's probably love, it's probably nurturing, it's probably just being there and letting her know that she's perfect the way she is.
You are my favorite girl.
Giving her that feeling is my goal.
Oh, hello. Oh, I miss having one like this. What do you want? What does he want?
So later on we can just dump this onto the computer?
Oh yeah, so, Laura, you're going to change the taxi to 4 a.m.? Okay. Do you know we're leaving at 4 a.m.? You know what's going away? Just for a week.
I love you.
Love you too.
Have a good trip.
Be good.
Yeah.
Hey, sweetheart. I think your French is getting better than mine. It was really well written. Really? Let me just look at it one more time. Oh, I found a mistake. You have un cellule, and then you have une cellule.
Okay.
All right, well, you probably have a lot of work. I'll let you go. You want to see Manila? Here, I'll just show you out the window. Can you see?
Yeah, I can see. Very blurry.
You see the streets a little bit?
Yeah, right in China.
Yep. Good. Nice job. Beautiful.
Global capitalism has done a very effective job of destroying culture. That inability to hear the voices of the past, to understand traditions, makes it much harder for us to grasp who we are and where we came from. Authentic culture holds up other values, forces us to be self-critical, to look at ourselves.
So this project, like, it goes back for me 25 years. Can you imagine where you'll be in 25 years?
Could you imagine where you would be 25 years ago?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I could either.
Except for dreaming of you and Gabriel.
So this is our 30-year anniversary. I want to make a toast to Frank, the love of my life, who I can't imagine or remember a life without, and sometimes don't even know where you end and I begin. For me and the kids, Dad is the secret sauce that makes everything possible, who pushes us relentlessly to make our dreams come true.
I'm filming the whole thing.
Oh.
Keep going.
Proud Papa?
I'm always surprised by the good things that you do, but it's at an extraordinary price, effort. You are determined to spend time with family and make sure that happens. But you're all over the place. I realize there's no perfect balance. Nobody has it. But sometimes I think you're pushing a little bit too hard. For the long run, not for the short run.
The work you're doing this time like fascinates me more than any other work, because it's kind of like everything about wealth, like 25 years of wealth, like good stuff, like the bad stuff, like the poor people, the rich people, like the happy people, the sad people. Like, I think that's cool. Yeah.
Thanks, Noah.
It's dedicated to you.
Noah.
You've come a long way.
Get my hair proper.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, hold on. Wait, this one, that one.
It's kind of ironic that I've chosen to raise my kids in the exact same world that I grew up in. Same neighborhood, same school, same pressures. And even though I can deconstruct the culture in my work, I'm still susceptible to its influence. It's just who I am. It's not like I can really stop. I am in constant motion, and I live with the consequences. But it's also one of the things I love. It gives my life meaning.
Not much has changed. Rock star right there.
Just passing the joint around, you know.
Versace. Wow.
Oh my God. Me. This is my very first interview I ever did.
Yeah, that was my life right there. The thoughts of a child, really. Really, yeah. That's deep.
When I was leaving Kansas City, I told my mom, one day you are going to see me walk a red carpet. I have lived on private jets, crystal flowing nights, and I have partied with rock stars and celebrities and actors. But you know what they say, be careful what you wish for.